Howdy folks, I'm Ragged Raincoat, reluctantly reflecting red rain.
I'm Amber.
And here's more red rain for us to reflect in it. Apparently things have gone terribly wrong for there to be red rain right now,
Yeah.
so let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Eat My Wife's Spaghetti After I Found Out What She Put in It? Last night, my wife made spaghetti and it smelled amazing. She had tried something new and wanted me just to eat it before asking any questions. I had a few bites and it tasted kind of off, but not terrible, just weirdly sweet and earthy. I asked what she changed, and she told me that she blended up leftover spaghetti from 6 days ago and mixed it into the sauce to thicken it. I immediately stopped eating. I know that it's technically the same ingredients, but the idea of blended old noodles mixed into fresh sauce made me feel sick. She got offended and said that I already ate half the plate, so clearly it was fine, and that I was just being dramatic now that I knew. I told her that's exactly the point. I did not know. If I had known beforehand, I would not have eaten it. She said that I was being wasteful and disrespectful and acting like she served me garbage. I ended up making a sandwich because I could not finish it, and she got really upset and barely talked to me for the rest of the night. She now has told her family, and they think that I embarrassed her, but my mom thinks that it's gross and that I should not have been tricked into eating it. I feel bad for hurting her feelings, but also feel like I should get a say in what I'm eating. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, you're definitely not the jerk here. That is kind of horrifying. Like, pasta is one of those foods that you don't want to leave out, like, in the fridge for too long or it can go bad.
Yeah.
I don't think you are in the wrong for wanting to know what you're consuming and not want to eat potentially expired food.
I think it would really depend on the storage method here. If it was stored in the freezer, then there's probably nothing wrong with that spaghetti and it's probably just fine for them to eat. But, 5 or 6 days in the refrigerator, that's really getting on the very, very iffy side. And then you're mixing it into current new spaghetti that you're going to probably be storing for a few days. That I do think might actually be a problem. I know that there are a lot of foods out there like rice and spaghetti that you're really only supposed to reheat like once. And if you do more than once, you can raise the risk of getting food poisoning. And, spaghetti and rice and some of those other foods there, those very soft foods, they can basically harbor really deadly bacteria. So you could actually die from food poisoning from them. And I don't think that's probably going to be the case in OP's particular case, but I still wouldn't risk it with something like that. So I think that is really, if OP doesn't want to put their health at risk, then they don't have to, right? It's their own decision. But if the wife wants to put her life on the line or risk it, I mean that's up to her, right? I mean, I don't think that is a good idea, but I think again, like, it's her choice at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like it's OP and the wife. Like, if they were kids, I would say definitely do not let your kids anywhere near this
Mm,
because they are not at an age where they can make those decisions.
yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Prize Juggernaut 810 says, not the jerk. Question, did she eat it? And Opie replies, she finished her plate. Now I'm concerned for her health based on these comments. And Sort of Satan 666 says, not the jerk. It kind of tasted off, but not terrible, just weirdly sweet and earthy. You want to know what that earthy taste probably was? Mold. And It's Just Wonder says, yep. I mean, maybe. Hopefully, she wouldn't have taken like moldy, visibly moldy spaghetti and actually like ground it up,
Yeah,
right?
that would be
If
horrifying.
she did, then I mean, certainly, like, it's a good thing that OP stopped eating. And the thing, like, I also wonder here is, like, I understand not wanting to waste food. I hate wasting food, right?
Hmm.
But why not finish off the spaghetti and do something like this, on day 2 or day 3 if she wanted to try a new recipe? And why wait until like 5 or 6 days after you've already had it? I mean, how much spaghetti are you cooking up all at once that it's taking you 5 days to get through it? That's kind of what I want to know because spaghetti is such a quick meal to cook up too.
It is. It is.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Drinking at My Friend's Wedding? To begin, I'll admit that I'm mostly coming here because I'm just really confused. I don't drink at all, not for any big reason, but all my friends know this. Leah and I have been good friends since middle school, so when she asked me to be a bridesmaid in her wedding, I was excited. On to the current issue. Her wedding was Saturday evening, but everything started on Friday night. Her family hosted a dinner for all of us, and being a part of the wedding party, I attended. Throughout the night, I was offered drinks, but I always declined. At some point, shots were given to the entire table to toast to the couple, and I just took the shot glass that they handed me to go along with it. After everyone took their shots, she looked at me and said, "You're really not going to drink that?" And I just told her no, but if she wanted it, she could have it. It was just going to go to waste with me. So if someone else wanted it, then it was all theirs. She stared at me for a few seconds and then said back, "Do you seriously have to start this right now?" I was confused because I didn't know what she expected me to do. Besides, she's aware that I don't drink, so I don't really know what she meant by that. Come the wedding day, the maid of honor was making mimosas for everyone and asked me if I wanted one. As usual, I declined. Drinks were given throughout the day, but I always said no whenever I was offered one. Eventually, when all the bridesmaids were getting ready, one of the other girls asked me if I didn't drink at all, and I said yes. That prompted a few of the other girls to ask why. I understand that it's odd to meet people who just don't drink, so naturally questions will be asked. I just explained that it wasn't my cup of tea, and we moved on. I will say for the rest of the time, while we were getting ready, I was still asked if I would like any, but I kept saying no. In case it matters, I wouldn't have been able to drink anyways. I was driving myself to and from the wedding, so drinking either way was out of the question. Then, at the wedding, Leah's photographer and videographer asked us to take glasses of wine that they set up for us and to chug them. I was at the far end of the line that they had us in, so I just pretended to drink mine. One of the girls offered to take mine afterwards, so I dumped what was in my glass into hers. Leah saw this and told me, "You know, it isn't going to kill you to drink it. Just drink it. It's just a drink, no different from water or apple juice." Well, I thought about it all day yesterday, and I'm just wondering if I missed something. I talked to my best friend about it, and she said that she wasn't sure why any of that would be upsetting to Leah, but she also doesn't drink. So I'm not sure if there's something to this that either of us are not understanding. I'm not sure if I made Leah upset somehow, but I plan to ask her later. She is on her honeymoon until next Sunday, so I won't be hearing from her anytime soon. Until then, Reddit, am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. You don't drink. She knows you don't drink. She should not be pressuring you to drink. It doesn't matter the reasons.
Yeah.
And it is not the same as water or apple juice, although you should be able to decline water and apple juice too.
Yeah.
But alcohol also has intoxicating effects that some people do not enjoy, and it also is a substance that can be addictive.
Yeah.
And, so you can't just pretend like, oh, it's not, it's just like water. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who have a problem with alcohol, whether they realize it or not. It's a widely abused drug, and I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. And most people, it's not going to impact their everyday life, but it will impact their health and well-being and things like that. And it even, unfortunately, they're finding more and more that even small amounts of alcohol can do things like break down your DNA and stuff like that. So I don't think that OP should put their health on the line just because other people want them to, drink, right? And so it's OP's decision. They can drink if they want to. They're not forcing everyone else not to drink. And if Leah wanted only drinking people at their wedding, then Leah should have not invited OP to the wedding or even been a bridesmaid, right? Just explained, oh, there's going to be a lot of drinking and I don't want you to feel left out. And I would feel awkward if you were the only person not drinking, right? And maybe that would be kind of a bad situation in the respect that I might make OP feel bad.
Right. It'd be a very odd hill to, choose your friends on, but at least it would be like not pressuring someone to drink when they're not comfortable with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if drinking was a requirement, then Leah should have made that perfectly well known, right? As for everyone else and the pressure and the stuff like that, like some of these photography things seem like they are arranged by Leah purposely to try and coerce OP into drinking. Like, I have never heard about chugging glasses of wine or something like that for pictures or, videography, right?
Yeah, well, it seems like, it seems like Leah's life alcohol may be a significant component of it. And OP's presence, either makes her feel guilty or, she is frustrated that she can't share this with OP, but whatever the reason is, she has to accept that. Sometimes your friends will not like the same things that you do, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you shouldn't pressure them.
Exactly. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And I Am Irene says, why is she so set on you drinking? She's literally trying to pressure you into it. That's not good behavior from someone who claims to be your friend. Not a jerk, you don't drink, and your friend doesn't respect your personal choice. And OP replies, I wish I knew. This isn't the first time that she's been pushy with my boundaries about drinking either. She's always offered a drink whenever we go out together, and I've always said no. This is just the first time that she's been so aggressive about it. I don't fault her for asking, but I don't know why she would be this pressed about it. And Blonde Hearted Goddess says, you know she orchestrated the photo with the bridesmaids chugging just to get you to drink, don't you? It's not a normal photo request, and she's making this a mighty big deal. Going forward, if offered a mimosa, just ask for a virgin one, plain OJ, and any place with a bar, ask for a Shirley Temple or a glass of club soda with a twist of lemon or lime. It will have bubbles and look like you're partaking, but she is not a very good friend, to be honest. And OP replies, I honestly never considered that. I was just doing what the photographer and videographer instructed us to do. Earlier in the day, we took pictures of us with mimosas in our hands while getting ready. Mine had just orange juice. And she was upset because mine didn't have any alcohol in it. To be honest, I don't really know why it matters, because if we were getting married, the last thing that I would think about 20 plus years later, looking at the photos, would be, ah yes, I remember this one bridesmaid that had a mimosa without alcohol, lol. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Moving Out of My Mother's House and Leaving Her in a Bad Place Financially? Throw away to keep this off my main account. I'm a 29-year-old female and my father died about a year ago, leaving my mom, a 56-year-old female, a widow with very little money. He didn't have life insurance and they didn't have much in the way of savings. Even with my brother and me contributing to the funeral, it took a big chunk out of their savings. My mother hasn't worked since she got married and struggled to find work after being out of the workforce for so long. After a few months, she was running low on money. She didn't spend extravagantly, just bought groceries and paid bills. But there wasn't much money left to live off of to begin with. Around that time, the lease on my apartment was near its end, and instead of renewing it, I asked my mom if she would like me to move back in with her and help her out financially. I could cover some of the bills, and that would help ease her financial strain. I said it would just be for a year while she gets sorted with a job. She agreed, but I also made it clear that I was joining her as a roommate, not as a child returning home. I expected us to see each other as equals, and I was not interested in getting stuck in a parent-child dynamic. Things were fine for a little while, but then after a few months, I was heading out to see a movie with my friend, and my mother told me to unload the dishwasher before I go. I told her that I would do it when I get back, and she said I wasn't allowed to go out until I unloaded it. I laughed and I told her that if she needs it unloaded so desperately, she can do it herself. This led to a huge fight about how disrespectful I am when I got home. I reiterated that I'm not a teenager who needs her permission. A few weeks after that, I started seeing someone. After a few dates, I decided to stay over at his place. I told my mother that I was going on a date and I probably would be home tomorrow. She told me that she didn't approve of me staying at some random man's house. At 11 p.m., she starts blowing up my phone with texts, voice messages, etc. I finally answered and I told her that I would be home in the morning and that I was shutting off my phone. I get home the next day, and that leads to another fight about how I have no reason to be out of the house after 11 p.m., and she expects me to be home by that time. I told her that I haven't had a curfew in over 10 years, and I don't need to follow her rules. This led to silent treatment for 2 weeks. I'd ask her something and she would ignore me. I'd enter her room and she would get up and leave. So yesterday, she was playing a game on her phone, and I told her that we needed to talk. She ignored me, and so I said, I'm moving out. That finally got her attention. She told me that I couldn't leave. I promised to help her. I told her that we are both clearly miserable and I'm not leaving immediately, but I intend to be back in my own place in 2 months. I told her that there's plenty of time to find a roommate her age that she could respect and can help out with the bills. Or I could help her set up an Airbnb account and she can rent the guest room for money. She's telling everyone that I'm abandoning her and she's going to end up homeless. My brother called me an hour ago to tell me that I'm being selfish and cruel. I went off on him and asked him where his help is, that he's living his life how he wants in another state with his wife and kids, that I'm expected to take care of our mother because I'm single and childless. I asked him if he really thought this was meant to be a permanent solution, and I shouldn't bother being in a relationship, getting married, or having kids because I'm supposed to take care of someone who treats me like a teenager. He called me a be and hung up. So am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Absolutely not the jerk. If your brother wants to deal with your mom's nonsense, then he can take her in. You had a very reasonable, like, I was gonna not even compromise, but you gave your mother a very reasonable setup.
Mm-hmm.
You were willing to help her out financially because this is all a favor to her, and in exchange, you expected to be treated like a roommate and not a young child. You are a full-grown adult. You do not need a curfew. Your mother trying to treat you like you're still 15 is not okay and not acceptable, and I do not blame you for not wanting to stay in that environment.
I mean, I think that OP is being very reasonable here, right? Like they said, oh, I'm going to move in for a year, and in that amount of time, you can go ahead and get your affairs in order and, find a job and get everything sorted out. And it seems like the mother in this particular situation just can't handle having their kids back at home. And I mean, if she was a stay-at-home mom for the whole time that she was married, then that might be the very natural place for her to get back to, right? Like she feels like it was her duty to be a mother and to mother her kids, right? And now her kid is back in the home, and so it just kind of maybe reflexively clicks for her that that's her job, that's her duty. But that isn't on OP to solve, right? Like if she feels like she has to mother OP, then either, she has to tell OP that situation isn't working or something like that. I don't think that OP is in the wrong here. OP made very reasonable boundaries, and she violated those boundaries at every turn. And then giving OP the silent treatment on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And only actually talking to OP when OP's like, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. I'm going to move out,
Well, that's
right?
the thing is the mother is controlling and manipulative. Like
Mm-hmm.
the silent treatment is manipulation, plain and simple. This is not someone just casually slipping into. I mean, maybe this is her old habit and she's always been manipulative, but this wasn't like a "oops, I forgot you're an adult. I'm going to apologize and move on." This was
Mm-hmm.
a I am going to treat you like a child and I am going to manipulate you until you cave to my will.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Sweet Love says, not the jerk. You gave her a year to find a job, and she chose to spend it treating you like a kid instead. And Opie replies, about 6 months ago, my uncle offered her a reception job at his small accounting firm. She turned it down because I'm not good with money like that. I told her that she was being hired as a receptionist, not as a chartered accountant. That should have been my first clue that I was turning into a retirement plan. I mean, I don't blame OP for getting out in that particular case. It looks like she just isn't going to find a job while OP is in the house, and that she
Yeah.
feels like she can just take advantage of OP's charity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, also, it could even be that, like, she saw OP going on the date and felt threatened by that because she's like, oh, OP is going to get married and move out and all those kinds of
Well,
things,
and
right?
that's a good point too. Is she is maybe expecting OP to be her retirement plan,
Mm-hmm.
and heaven forbid something get in the way of that.
Yeah. And Jimbo Jones says, not the jerk. Your brother can move mom in with his family if he's so concerned. Funny how it's always the one who shows up that gets guilted. You gave her fair warning and options. And Opie replies, that's what really annoys me, because I showed up and I tried to help, and he got to ignore the whole situation. And Caspian4136 says, not the jerk. You're pushing 30 and she's treating you like a teenager. Giving 2 months is plenty of time for her to get a roommate situation going. And Opie replies, and a job. I think she stopped looking about 3 months ago. Yeah, I mean, it very clearly feels like she just expects OP to cater to her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did one blade of grass say to the other during a drought?
Probably they said, water, water. I'm not green anymore. I'm turning brown because of dehydration. And then they went, ah.
Very sad. I guess we'll have to make do. DEW.
I guess so. I guess so. And I have a Earl Grey. And folks, today is a very special day. It's a neck massager thing. I would say that it worked okay. It has this like little red light thing on the back of it. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was like the best thing in the world. It mostly just vibrated a lot. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday, folks, and you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on spaghetti.
Don't eat old spaghetti and don't force other people to eat old spaghetti.
Yeah, yeah. You know what makes it special? Food poisoning.
No.
But thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.